Hello everyone and Happy New Year. Wishing you all a very fun, healthy and happy year. I wish you to learn lots of new things during the following year. In today's lesson we are going to review history and calendar from unit 4 of your social book. Before I start the lesson, let's review today's lesson vocabularies. History, historian, calendar, Gregorian, decade, century. So, history is the study of the past. And why we need to study about the past? Study about the past will help us to make sense of humankind. We can learn about the people who lived in the past or the events that have occurred in the past. Also will help us to explain how, why and when those events have happened. For example, who established Bangkok as the capital city of Thailand? Which king? If we study history, we know who, when, and why has established Bangkok as a capital city. Two main reasons that why we should study history are: the study helps make sense of humankind. It also helps people understand the things that happen today and may happen in the future. And a person who studies and writes about the past is called a historian. And how do the historians study story? They often use written records such as diaries, letters, or even newspaper articles. How do historians measure time? Well, dates are used to help us to identify and remember when things happened in the past or when people lived. For example, your birthdays. My birthday. For example, I have born in 9 June 1984. So 9 June 1984 is a date that I can remember, to know, to identify and remember when I have born. Therefore, history is recorded in dates. Who has established Bangkok as the capital city of Thailand? There is a date and there is a name. Historians mark time in dates, years, and in longer periods of time. For example, a period of 10 years is called a decade, and a period of 100 years is called a century. So let's measure time together. A year is equal to 365 days. A decade is equal 10 years. A century is equal 100 years. And a millennium is equal 1,000 years. So let's have exercise together. We call 10 years. So can you tell me now, 10 years, how do we call it 10 years in the story? A decade, right? We call 10 decades a century, right? We call 10 centuries a millennium, right? Okay. So let's see what is a calendar. A calendar is a system that we use to measure time. How many different calendars are available worldwide? We have more than 40 calendars all around the world, but they are all under these three main types of calendars: solar, lunar, and lunisolar. Solar calendars are based on Earth's movement around the sun. Lunar calendar are based on moon movement around the Earth. And lunisolar calendar are based on both solar for the season and lunar for the months. An example for solar calendar is Gregorian calendar. An example for lunar calendar is Islamic calendar or Hijri calendar. And an example for lunisolar calendar is Chinese calendar and Buddhist calendar. So let's watch a short video that it explained why we do have lots of different calendars worldwide. Okay, please watch the video. It's about 3 minutes.
On December 21st, 2012, the world was supposed to end. Many believed that the Mayan calendar was ending, and thus so would all life on Earth. Of course, most of us don't use the ancient Mayan calendar, and the world didn't end. So we wanted to know, why are there so many different calendars? Well, nearly all calendars fall under 3 types: lunar, solar, and lunisolar. There are actually dozens of different calendars, many of which build off each other and are incredibly similar. The most widely recognized non-religious calendar in the Western world is the Gregorian calendar. In 46 BC, Roman Emperor Julius Caesar instituted the Julian calendar, which was almost identical to the one we use today. It had 12 months, and a year was defined as 365.25 days. A millennia and a half later, in 1582, Pope Gregory XIII introduced the Gregorian calendar, named after himself. It tackled the problem of certain religious celebrations falling on a slightly different day every year. It changed the rules surrounding leap years so that dates remained relatively consistent with the holidays. The Gregorian is solar-based, meaning that 1 year equals 1 full rotation of the Earth around the Sun. There are also lunar calendars, which measure months based on cycles of the moon. This usually correlates as a new moon signifying a new month. The most well-known lunar calendar is the Islamic calendar, also called the Hijri calendar. It's named for a journey by the Prophet Muhammad in the year 622. The Hijri calendar marks this event as its, quote, year zero, similar to the Christian system of BC and AD, which set the life of Jesus Christ as their year zero. Additionally, because there are more than 12 lunar cycles in one solar cycle, the Hijri calendar is only 354 days long, and it's currently considered the year 1437 AH. Finally, there are calendars which use both lunar and solar systems. These are lunisolar and are the best of both worlds. They use the sun to mark the year and moon cycles to mark the seasons. Occasionally, to fix the discrepancy of the shorter lunar month, there is a 13th leap month added every 2 or 3 years. The Chinese calendar is a famous example of a lunisolar calendar. Rather than mark years chronologically, the Chinese calendar names its years, with the first component denoting an element like metal, fire, or earth, and the second an animal. For example, 2016 is the year of the red fire monkey. This type of lunisolar calendar is also used by Jews, Hindus, Buddhists, and a number of Asian countries. There are a lot of ways to keep track of time, but luckily we've all mostly agreed on the Gregorian civil calendar. So while the new year may come on January 1st for any solar or lunisolar cultures, you'll have to wait until October of 2016 if you're following the purely lunar Hijri calendar. For a deeper look into the origins of the Gregorian calendar, check out this video by DNews.
Well, Easter was traditionally supposed to fall on the Sunday after the first full moon after the spring equinox on March 21st, but it had started slipping later and later behind the solar event. And Gregory was worried that they were missing Christ's rebirth day by about 10 days, so he commissioned Italian scientist Aloysius Lilius to fix it and make sure they were on Jesus' good side.
Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe for new videos every day.
I hope you enjoy your video. So let's look at Buddhist calendar. In Buddhist calendar, the Buddhist calendar is a lunisolar calendar in which the months are based on lunar months and years are based on solar years. In Buddhist calendar, the years are counted from the birth of Buddha, and it shows with capital B and E. For example, this year is 2563 BE based on Buddhist calendar. Buddhist calendar is used in Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, and Thailand. The Buddhist calendar is 543 years ahead of the Gregorian calendar. For example, 2559 BE is the same as 2016 AD. Now let's look at Gregorian calendar. The Gregorian calendar is a solar calendar with 12 months. AD stands for Anno Domini, in Latin for in the year of the Lord, and refers specifically to the birth of Jesus Christ. BC stands for before Christ in English. So if an event has occurred before birth of Jesus Christ, historians use BC, that stand for before Christ, to mark that event in history. And if that event has happened after birth of Jesus Christ, the historian use AD to mark that event in history. So let's have an exercise. The Gregorian calendar came from Christianity, yes. The Buddhist calendar came from, yes, Buddhism. The Buddhist calendar is years ahead of the Gregorian calendar. Remember that? How many years? 543 years ahead of the Gregorian calendar. Perfect.